Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of the chrysanthemum necklace. So I've got my pendant here. We did this part in the last video. And then I made up these two little links on head pins. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to attach them with jump rings to the flowers, and then I'm going to put chain to finish off the necklace. I think that'll be really nice. That'll give me this really pretty fun necklace with little drop. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, I've got a jump ring there, and I know I've got a mess here, and I'm going to grab another jump ring. Actually, I might use these instead of that one because that one's a little larger. And I have a bunny at my feet and no cookies for her. I will be right back, guys. All right, just went and got her cookies. Okay, so we've got our jump rings, and so I'm trying to figure out exactly where, so I'm going to slide this out of the way for a second, exactly which one of these points I want to attach it to. I don't want it here because that's going to be too, it's going to be too, I want it somewhere there. So I'm thinking maybe this point right here and this point right here. So here, let me just kind of get you better in frame. So yeah, so when you're setting it up, I want to make sure that the point is going to give me the proper angle. So this point and they're not quite the same. So this point and that point. So if I hold it up, yeah, I think that'll work. So I know where my points are. So I'm going to set this here. And I am going to do this side first because I know which point on this side. And get that in. Oops. All right, so there's one. And so that, when it's being hung, is going to be, that's not going to be right. All right, we're going to go up one more point. I'm thinking maybe, I kind of want to keep it on the back petals just because I think it'll hug closer to the neck, and I don't want it sticking too far out. Yeah, that looks good. And so we've got this on here, and I'm thinking maybe this point here. We're going to have to play with the points just because these are not 100% symmetrical. So I'm thinking maybe here, and even though that's the front one, it might just have to do. Yes, that's perfect. All right, and I will show you how this will hang on a mannequin. I'm going to hold it up to myself and see. I'm going to attach chain, and then we're just going to cut where we need what we need for length. And so I'll show you that. Excuse me. So rather than cut the chain ahead of time, because I don't know exactly how much I want, I'm going to attach the chain to this side with a jump ring. And then I'm going to attach the other end to the other side. And then we will measure how much chain we need. By placing it on my neck and pulling it up. And then I'm just going to mark it roughly. So it's roughly got to be there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of make sure I have this about the same amount of chains, and then I'm just going to cut this one's got to go up one. That's got to go up one. There. All right. And of course, I'm going to cut a little smaller because my clasp is going to take up some space. And so I still have a nice long piece of chain, excuse me, to use for something else. Now we can just attach our clasp. And I thought I had a magnetic clasp around here somewhere. I know I used one for the other necklace, but I thought it came with two. Apparently I lost the magnetic clasp. It's around here somewhere. I'm sure it's just got attached. Oh, there it is. Ha! It got attached to the necklace. All right. So we are going to attach with jump rings, and then I will show it to you on the mannequin. I'm really liking this design. I think it's really fun. And it's unique. So anytime you can do something that's not really been done before, I always find that, you know, interesting because it's no two pieces, even though everybody in these boxes get the same beads. No two pieces are quite the same. Everybody has their own design style and artistic abilities, and I really like that. It gives you the opportunity to do that. All right, let's take a look at this on our mannequin. So I am going to get this set up here and try to get it hooked on at the right height. I think that, that's a little low on that side. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. Let me zoom out a little bit if I can. Oh, I guess I can't. I will lift you up, give you more space to see. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to probably straighten this chain out a little bit because this side's twisted, this side's not. So what I may do is take this side off, untwist, and so that it's perfectly flat like this side. So we can do that right now. Just because I want it to have a nice look to it. And I'm going to leave it on the mannequin to do it. Just so I know I've got it in the right spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the jump ring off, take the chain, smooth it out, grab my jump ring, and then reattach it to there. And now this side is slightly twisted. It's got one twist in it. Oh, no, no. There we go. All right, so there we go. That's better. Nice, smooth chain. I'm not sure. Well, no, it does have a twist in it. And that's the thing. You want to make sure if you're going to have a chain laying flat on a neckline that you want it to lay flat and not twisted. It would be one thing if this was all beads. All right, I'm going to take this off the mannequin for a second here just because I cannot get... And the reason why I was doing it on the mannequin was because I wanted to make sure that when I reattach it, that it is completely smooth. Against the neckline. So what I'm doing here is just making sure it lays flat when I put it back on, so that when it is laying on the neck, that it lays completely flat like that. So there we go. So that is, I'm going to call this the Chrysanthemum necklace. And that is design number 2. We made the earrings as part of this. The earrings don't necessarily go with this necklace, but we made the earrings. We used these components in the last video, and we started this necklace, and there you go. All right, so, all right, let's continue working. So I'm going to do another design with you, and I think I'm going to bring it down here a little bit. I think we're going to do something fun, necklace, or I don't know if we want to do necklace or if we want to do just some earrings, maybe a necklace and a pair of earrings with those. So let me get my jump rings out of the way here. And let's start designing. I'm thinking something with the grayish. So these beads here, the grayish purples, and maybe some of these darker yellows, and some reds. Maybe not. Ooh. Or do we do something like that with, something like that with but then we won't have enough for the necklace. So let's put something in there. Don't like that. Don't like that. I do like that. And I'm pulling out the beads that look similar so that I can decide on earrings. So That works. We'll put some gold in that. And then that on there. And what I'm thinking is doing lighters, the lighter colors. And so we need at least one of those for that. And that'll give me for the earrings. And do we want some yellow in this? All right, let's see what this is going to look like on a piece of wire. So I am going to grab some beadalon. I'm going to grab a big length of it just because we're probably going to bead up around there as well. And I'm going to start stringing some beads here just to see what it's going to look like on the wire. So I may do... Let's see, what do we want to do? Oops. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to figure out what looks good together and see that I don't like the yellow in that because they're too small. I want big focals. And I definitely want some gold. So maybe we put in these spacers in between, which will also give me some added length to the design. And I may even put more gold in between with what do you call it? Bead caps, just to give it a little more bling to go with that. Now, see, I like that with the gold in between, but I'm thinking on maybe on the bigger beads, maybe some small gold cap. We'll try that. We'll see what it looks like. So I'm going to take these three off, and then just to see, I'm going to do one bead cap, this, that's not big enough, so we need a bigger bead cap here. And that's the thing. Don't be afraid to mess with your designs, and just play and see if you like it. If you don't, don't like that either. I think we'll just go with the gold spacer beads, just because I'm not liking the bead caps. And I don't think I have any bead caps that will go well with it. So we are going to, and I'm going to get a different purple one of those. All right. And that looks good. Now, I do want a little more space, I think, between that. Maybe. That will hang very low on the neck, and we don't have a drop. So I do want maybe something small to finish it off, like a pearl bead. See, I like that. And then that gives me ideas for the chain going up the side, because then I can add pearls in there. And I like that. I do like that. All right, so I'm going to crimp this onto these. I just got to grab a couple crimp beads. So I didn't have a whole lot out. And we're going to crimp this side. And remember, we kind of want to have a little bit of space because we want this to be able to move around a little bit. I don't want it super tight up against the finding, because otherwise then it won't sit right on the neck. All right, and so there's the first one. Now we're going to crimp the other side, and then we will continue to work on each side of the necklace. And so I'm going to work on one side at a time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I add beads and patterns that I like, I'm going to save out beads for the other side. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. And I just lost something. I think it was an ear wire. We'll get it. And again, I can see some wires sticking out. I can trim those once I'm nice and tight. That's good. That is good. I think that's tight enough. And we'll just crimp that. And I am going to snip off these. I'm going to use my nice sharp ones. And so all I'm doing is trying to crimp it off as close to the bead as possible so that you don't have any wire sticking out anywhere. All right, so there's component. Now we need to figure out what we're going to do going up the side. So I'm going to take some more of these pearl beads and I'm going to add them into here. And I've got plenty of those, so even if I use a ton of them, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to add a pearl bead. I'm going to add a dark purple, one of these spacers. Oops. A crystal. So I will be able to follow the pattern at least for one set for the necklace, and then we'll make a pattern going up the side. And then one of these pretty purples. And a dark, and then so I like that. And then now we're going to have to figure out something to put in between. So what I may do is let's see, what do we want to do? Put maybe a white one as a separator. Nope. Maybe a spacer. No, that's too big. We need something a little bit bigger. So maybe we'll take some of these purples and I will do a set of three purples and then a spacer like that. And then we will do a purple, don't like that, a pearl, and another purple maybe, and then a spacer. All right, I'm not sure I like that. I do like this portion. I mean, I guess we could do chain on that, but I'm really not sure what I want to do yet. So I'm going to pause this for a minute. I'm going to play because you don't need to see me figuring stuff out, and I will be back in a minute. All right, so I figured out the pattern after playing several times. So we have our pattern that's going to match this as a starting point to the necklace. And then what I did is I put a spacer bead here. So let me do this so I don't lose this off the side while we're discussing this. So this is our pattern. So this is matching, and I'm missing a piece of it, which is fine. This will be matching, sort of matching because we need the bead on the other side. So this is going to be sort of half of this part here going up the side. And I know it's opposite, which is fine. And that's going to go up the side. But what I did, because I want to have more beads, I put a spacer bead on. And then I started using these bead caps with the matte purple and then the purple pearls in between to give it a cohesive look. And that's going to go up all the way to the back of the necklace. Now, I may put something in here for jump rings and maybe a little pendant. I don't know. We'll see how it hangs on the neck. So now that I know the pattern, I'm just going to keep on beading and get the length. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other side as well as I go. So what we're going to do is take another length of beadalon. That is, if I can get it cut here. These pliers, I don't know if you can see them. Never try to cut memory wire with pliers. Like this one's, these pliers are all beat up. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get this to focus. Yeah, there you go. They're all beat up, so they don't really cut very well. So try not to do that because it will ruin your flush cutters. And I have a bunny that's had cookies, but she wants more and I don't have any more. Sorry, baby. I don't have any cookies. She's very cuddly this morning. I don't know why, but she's all up underneath my feet, and you would think that she gets no attention, but she does. She spends all day in my office while I'm working, getting attention and pets. She spends, well, she doesn't get to spend nighttime with me while I'm sleeping, but, you know, she gets a lot of attention. She's just very, very lovey, which is unusual because she doesn't like anybody else. Like, no other human being will she go near except me. But I guess that's what happens when you get dumped in the wild. You tend only to trust the people that saved you. All right, we've got that. We need this guy and the pearl and a spacer bead. And now we can start our mini pattern, which is bead cap, purple bead, bead cap, pearl, all right, bead cap, purple bead, whoopsie. These things are very tiny and very thin and very hard to hold on to. And purple pearl. And we'll do one more of those. And then I think what I'm going to do, now that I know the pattern, and I do like the pattern, I'm going to attach the beadle-on to the findings so that I can just then measure and see how it's going to hang on a mannequin, and just make sure it's gonna hang right. So I'm gonna clip off both ends of this, and we are going to get some crimp beads, and we are going to crimp on the first one here. And then we are going to put our beads over the wire just to make sure that no end is sticking out. And then I'm going to do the other side. So again, I may need something heavy in the center there to hang. I may not. It may just hang automatically, which is what I'm hoping for. But again, we can put it on the mannequin without finishing it to find out. So this is the other side. Now also too, I'm not using wire guardians here because it would be very hard to get the wire guardian through that loop. Now you could ultimately use a wire guardian and a jump ring, but you know, to be honest, it's attached. It's not going anywhere. As long as you give it some looseness, you're not going to cut your wires, and as long as your findings aren't sharp, your wires should be okay. Now I've got bunnies biting at my feet. So let's see what this is going to look like on the mannequin. So if I were to hold this on the mannequin and try not to mess up my wires, it would dangle kind of like that. It's going to be fun. And so I may also add another drop from the bottom of that just to make it a nice V. We shall see. Do something along those lines. But I am going to finish up the chain, and I will pause you and I will be back. Okay guys, I finished stringing up the pattern, and then what I did is this part was so far back I didn't want to use the pretty beads. especially seeing that it's going to be on the back of the neck where nobody sees it. So I just put on the pearls just to finish off the length, because this is going to be a shorter necklace. I want it to hang higher up. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to find a wire guardian, because I am going to use wire guardians for this, because we're going to use a lobster claw and a extender chain for people, because again, being a shorter necklace, I want to make sure if I'm selling this that people can adjust it based on their neck size or where they want it to hang. Which is always really, really good, because then you give people options to be able to, you know, wear it, and then you have more of a sales base because it is adjustable. Whereas if you only had a necklace, let's say was 16 inches or 18 inches, you know, certain people that, you know, may have a bigger neck or may like chains looser will not want to buy it because it's going to be too tight for them. All right, so I am going to feed through my crimp bead. And several of the pearl beads. I may try to get down through I don't want to go through the wrong spot on that one. There we go. And gonna make sure that that's in there nice and tight. I am gonna crimp the wire guardian just so it's nice and tight up to the I can't talk this morning, so it's up to the crimp bead. And I'm just going to make sure that this is tight, but not so tight that there's not movement in that. And I'm going to go ahead and crimp this side. And we will trim. And now the trick is getting as close as you can to the bead without cutting the good wire. All right, now we're going to do the other side. And I know it came off my... I've got a bunny. Sorry, guys. I have a bunny biting at my pant leg because she's like, you're in here. It's morning. You're not supposed to be in here. I normally don't come in this early in the morning. And she's just, yeah, she's just being really goofy, and she just wants cookies. Bunnies can be very, very fun. So I know in the last video, I think I mentioned in one of the videos that I did yesterday, that I was recording yesterday, while I was working on this set, that Piper ran into a wall and gave himself a bloody nose. He's doing fine, by the way. He apparently stunned himself, gave himself a little bloody nose, bumped his nose, but he's back to his normal perky self this morning. So it stunned him a little bit. I'm sure it hurt, you know, at the time, but he's good. I talked to the people from the rescue, let them know what happened, and you know, so they're well aware. He's very, you know, he's lived all his life in foster care with me, but he's very skittish. I think that's just his nature. He's doesn't like a lot of sudden movement. And granted, he was in an isolated part of my house for when they were first born, because mom was very startled and you know, wasn't eating, wasn't really doing a lot when we were trying to get her to feed her babies, so we wanted a quiet environment. So for the first few months of their life, they lived with not a lot of interaction, you know, between people, and, you know, so there wasn't a lot going on. And so they got moved to the living room for a while as part of the, you know, getting you used to people and things. Unfortunately, I started seeing clients, and the number of people in and out of my house for the Reiki was causing them to be very startled, skittish, and I didn't want that either, so I moved them upstairs now, and we're trying to get them used to people and used to noises and used to everything. All right, so we got the necklace, we got the wire guardians. I'm going to attach my lobster claw, and then I'm going to use a piece of this chain as an extender, just because we have it. Makes for a nice and I am going to cut this shorter. It's not going to be that long, but I just wanted to put it on there. I'm just going to cut off about 10 lengths or so and have a nice little extender chain for people. And we're going to look at this on the mannequin. And so this is going to be an up close on the neckline necklace. It lays quite nicely on the necklace. It's got this really bright pop of gold with the muted purples. So it makes these the focal and this the focal. And I really like this one. So there's design number 3 for the Cozy Chrysanthemum. And yeah, so we still got a lot of beads left. I'll do the earrings in another video, and we'll use up the rest of these beads in the next one. So thanks for watching.